Hi fans, this is Max Frieza here outside of Sunny Eyes Mall in front of this big Christmas tree, about to get into this review. Coming right at you now in 3, 2, 1.
What do you want? Come again, champion.
You're in the zone with Caribbean Game Zone.
To my left, I have
Judah VI.
Judah VI. And to my right,
Dean Plaskett.
Dean Plaskett. And we just finished seeing, what show did we finish seeing, guys?
Star Wars.
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. First impressions, guys.
Sequel bait.
Sequel bait.
I'm gonna go with major hype. Major hype. First impression. You mean like when it started rolling? I mean, I was excited, man. Excitement. Childhood.
Yeah.
Brought back some memories.
Da-da-da.
I was anticipating the best ever.
I don't know if you could tell by our faces. It was not the best ever.
It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best.
Okay. Yeah. Say it again, dude.
It wasn't the worst,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the best. It was okay.
You know, it's kind of like the girl you end up dating, and you're like, you know, I've seen like way hotter and I've seen way uglier, but this one is just like, you know, I like her. She has a good personality. That's what this movie was. It was like being set up with a girl with a good personality.
Your references tend to land in the quality of female type of conversations. Why is that, sir?
I'm just talking about what I learned about on
Yes.
TV.
What do you guys think about the villain? We know who the villain is. Kylo Ren, Black Mass. Very similar to Darth Vader. What's your thoughts and feelings? Please don't give away any spoilers right now.
No spoiler alerts. No spoil. Dean is the king of spoiler alerts. So Dean, give us your thoughts, man.
Thinking, how did he was lame. He was lame. I thought he was lame.
You know what? I tell you what.
He didn't say why, but
Yeah.
Can you please tell us why you think he was late?
He was lame because, how do I put it?
Without spoiling the film.
That's the problem. How do I say it
How
without spoiling
are you
the
gonna
film?
say it without? I don't know how you're gonna say it without spoiling.
I'll tell you how.
Go for
all
it.
Darth Vader was 100% bad ASS from the start to end.
He set the standard. Period.
Standard was
Period.
this high
Period.
walking into the movies, and at one point
Yeah.
we kind of felt like, you know what, this guy might be the successor.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of had that new age vibe to him.
He did.
But then he was doing some things that led us to believe that he might not be as mature as, you know, the tried and true Darth Vader.
Exactly. So the dark side had a little colors in it. It seemed a little colorful on the dark side.
Again, I actually just remembered, it's really bad when I feel a Disney villain is more threatening. Whenever I watch the old Disney movies, I'm like, man.
I really hope you're not off the film right now since you're so far away.
Yeah.
But
So I tell you what.
Disney villains are more threatening than that guy was. He was not threatening at all.
So
He was.
y-
And then he kind of lost it. And if you
Yeah.
see the film, you'll know what we mean.
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
at first, and then he wasn't.
Things changed. I tell you what. I think Batman had a harder time with Bane.
Wow. Okay.
Bane's mask was scary, bro. You can see his face, and Bane was still like,
He was so calm.
yeah. He was like,
He's speaking like an Englishman.
hey, Bruce, I'm going to kick you in your wanker.
What's that famous line he had?
Darkness.
You only adopted the darkness.
Right. I was born by it.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Something like that.
Something like that, but
Why are we talking about Batman right now?
I don't.
Because I'm Batman.
Wasn't that
That's a
good?
shame. We here doing a review for Star Wars, and here we are. Anyway, listen, the rest of the
I'm
cast.
looking forward to Batman v Superman. I am highly disappointed by this film.
The cast was okay. The cast was okay.
Expectations
it
were
was-
this high, and
it was-
they only got it here.
I tell you what, it was good to see some of the older and
cast.
original cast
Original
in
cast.
the movie. It's good to see some of them.
Don't name names.
No names, no names.
I'm not, but that goes into another complaint where I feel like they reference the old Star Wars movies one too many times. The first time it was okay, but they kept doing it. I was like,
Well, they kind of had to, because Luke has to come back, and hopefully he does. And I'm not saying he does or he doesn't. So
Yeah.
that's not a spoiler for you guys, but we're hoping for the best.
We're hoping for the best.
You
We're
know.
hoping for the best. No,
I feel like when you see the movie, you'll realize that they're trying too hard to be the old Star Wars.
Come closer, sir.
I'm sorry, but
yeah.
they're trying too hard to be the old Star Wars and not trying hard enough to create a new Star Wars series, which wasn't this movie supposed to create this new Star Wars?
You know what? I've seen in this Star Wars, I've seen some things grow. And one of the things I appreciated with this particular Star Wars was the fact that it seemed a little new age. I mean, I was surprised somebody didn't take out a cell phone or iPhone 6. It was like, yeah, I'll be right home, Mom. It had a lot of new perks and context. Or even
Absolutely.
content to it, So a lot of new context in it, and it really made it seem like Star Wars was of this time and evolving with us during the movie.
I gotta be honest with you, man. It kind of came off like what Dean is talking about. They just recycled the old formula and just added a new sticker on the front and said, "Hey, we get brand new."
Do you think it's worth recycling a movie like Star Wars, or do you think they should go head on and just evolve the whole daggone thing? We're coming into a new age.
I feel like because Star Wars is such a legendary series, when you do it that to the extent extreme that this movie did, you can't help but try to compare it to the old ones and realize all the faults this one had, like the major faults. Villain.
Good point. So now let's say you're directing a new Star Wars. What would you have changed?
The villain is the number one thing. He has to be more threatening. When I saw him on screen, I was like, eh. When I saw Darth Vader on screen, I'm like, somebody's about to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody's
The Force was
day-
strong with Darth.
Somebody's day was about to be ruined. When I saw this dude, I'm like, it looks like I could beat him in a bar fight.
Now, Max, there was a lot of talk about this new guy being in the film, and you're talking about a black guy taking a star role in Star Wars.
Absolutely.
So, what's your feelings on that after seeing the film now? Because it got a lot of talks and tweets on online.
I think after seeing the film, all the people that were upset, they're gonna be so relieved after they see this film. They're gonna be like, "Thank you, God. Thank you.
right.
Thank you."
You didn't spoil it for me.
The best way I could describe it was, you've seen Mad Max before, right?
Mad Max, yeah, definitely.
Fury Road, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly like that. Where it's like, hey, it's Mad Max. It wasn't really about Mad Max.
It was about Furiosa. Furiosa. Yes.
Yeah, Furiosa, yeah.
If you don't get what I'm saying, I'm pretty much saying the girl was the protagonist, not the black dude.
Well, you kind of got that vibe from the trailers.
Yeah.
That's not even spoiling anything. You kind of knew that.
Well, from the first trailer, you couldn't tell, but then as you saw the other trailers, it really started to highlight the female a lot more.
I didn't. The
You didn't
trailer
get
didn't.
that?
Not the trailer never did it for me. Yeah, they saw him with the lightsaber, but that's about it. We never actually see him use the Force.
That's true.
You know.
That's true.
And since we didn't actually see him do it in the trailer, I never personally. I didn't get the vibe that he was going to be the star.
Right. All
'Cause
right.
You gotta use it at some point. And the trailers kind of reveal who was using it and who wasn't using it. So I kind of felt like,
I
are
tell
they
you what.
really gonna give it to a black dude to be the lead in? I don't. I believe when I see it.
You talked about the Force, right?
Yes.
Now we know how strong the Force was when we first saw Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now, do you think the Force is just as strong right now as it was back then?
The Force just awakened. Apparently.
Oh gosh, it's just a
The Force just awakened.
Yeah, it just awakened.
It's more like I woke up like this kind of awakening. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at the old Star movies and you see all the things they did with the Force,
I think he needs the mic.
Could be. And then you see this movie, and you're just like, eh.
Say again, Dean. What's up?
Say that again, Dean. Say it again, Dean.
When you look at the old Star Wars movies and you see all that they did with the Force and how
Right.
devastating it was,
Right.
and then you see this movie and the fact that they don't do anything with it.
With the Force.
Well, they might do something.
They did something really not to its full extent like we know it to be.
Like we're
you know?
used to. We're used to a stronger Force.
Yeah.
So now, lastly,
Terrible villain.
did we in every Star Wars? It seems like there's some kind of love interest in all of it. Did this one take too much of a love interest role, or you think that this one was?
It wasn't the most awkward,
Uh-huh.
but it wasn't the best,
All right.
which kind of is the entire movie. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best.
Fair enough.
That love interest that they were trying to create there, I thought it looked so awkward because we were kind of waiting for it to happen,
Right.
and then when it happened, we was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this.
But it still wasn't as bad as Anakin and Layla.
So are you saying that you were more?
I mean, or Anakin, was it Anakin or Layla or Padawan? I don't remember.
Were you more or less? Did you feel less awkward when it was brother and sister dating? I mean,
It wasn't the worst. That still is like the romance with Anakin and what was his name? I can't remember.
Luke and his sister was still a better love story than what we saw tonight.
It was just like
awkward.
it was just like they just saw each other. And was like, they just saw each other and fell in love. I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, the guy did. I was like, the girl took a minute, but then it was like,
Oh, you can't tell a story, man.
Oh, you're gonna have to cut that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Cut that out.
Wow.
Just censor it, like.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna pick this up talking about the female stormtrooper, who happened to be the first and only female stormtrooper.
captain.
Yeah,
I think they had another one, but I think she was a captain. Yeah, they had another one.
Now that you know.
And
what
another
was
one.
under their helmet.
Yeah.
listen, she had a little shawl over her shoulder.
She did.
Okay,
I thought she was
Alright.
gonna be bringing the pain.
and she was speaking, and had a woman's voice and that whole nine. And I was like, yo, man. And again, I knew this before I saw the film, so my anticipation for what she was going to do and contribute to the film was even higher. So when I saw her, I was like, oh, female, good.
Right.
Just like they said in the the interviews and whatnot. And she was talking it up real big too. It's the first female, blah blah. I know you guys said other folks, but she said it in multiple interviews.
There might be other stormtroopers.
There was.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there were.
Who knows who's underneath those masks,
true,
right?
too.
But as far as them acknowledging the gender of that person, this is the first time I've seen them say that's a female.
Yep.
But
It seemed like they left some stuff out. Like it seemed like
They
the
didn't-
writers had I don't know.
Her airtime was so limited. We were highly disappointed.
Yeah.
I wish we had seen more of her. I wish she had
Definitely.
contributed more to the film. I hope that's not a spoiler, but if you're expecting a whole lot from her, sadly, it's not there.
I feel like anybody who's like watching this entire review kind of could feel that they shouldn't get their hopes up with this movie.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, man. I'm not gonna lie.
The action is there.
The action is there. It had some good action. Mm-hmm.
The acting was there.
Camera angles. Listen, when you're seeing the camera angles of
The Millennium Falcon.
flying, oh my!
I thought I was gonna have some kind of
Listen.
vertigo inside there. I was like, oh!
I've been on many helicopters, and that was like, it was awesome because I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it feels like. Oh, you gotta turn your head like this. So that was perfect.
Yeah, the
So
action's intense and the camera angles really help the action.
definitely. So
One of the fighter pilots from the original trilogy was there. I was like, is that his son or this guy doesn't age?
this guy is still alive,
Like,
man.
like
I thought he got shot down in part 3.
Yeah.
I thought he was shot down for good, and he's back flying.
he's
I
like,
mean,
can't kill me that easily.
you're right, exactly. So obviously these guys have some real good parachutes or eject buttons.
In space, though?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's Star Wars. You
Yeah.
You kind of have to have some suspension of belief.
definitely. definitely.
Thoughts on the new Death Star? It's not the same Death Star, and this
Right.
is not a spoiler. This is totally known. You can go on the poster. It's there. We know it's.
No one does that. No one goes to the poster but you, bro.
No, I'm telling you, I've been looking at reviews,
Okay.
looking at footage, and you know
Fine,
It was-
fine.
I really liked
The new Death Star?
it. The new Death Star. It
the new Death Star was incredible.
it was real.
Yeah.
That was the only thing about the villains that when you saw it, you were like, oh,
Yeah.
this thing could really ruin somebody's day.
It added some scare factor, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Added so much needed scare factor for the villains.
Let me tell you something. That second lieutenant guy that was not the main bad guy,
Right.
I thought he should have been the bad guy.
That's a true point. That's a true point. Yeah, he was way more scarier than the bad guy.
Yeah, he should have been the guy.
Talking
They should
about
put
that.
him under the mask.
The guy that's training the Force, the dark side right now. Yeah, interesting.
He's spoiling stuff right now.
I'm just saying, he's interesting.
He had well, seeing as if we already talked about him, he has the same problem with the main villain, where he seems really threatening at first, then he does something that makes you go, never mind.
Epic entrance.
Epic.
All of the entrance of every character is epic.
Very true.
But as the movie goes on, a lot of their mystique goes away. And yes, the good guys tend to become that much more, likable in the end. And the bad guys, you're not supposed to like them, but you're supposed to at least respect them as bad guys.
But there's the thing about villains is there are villains that everyone loves to hate. Like look at the Joker or like even Bane in the old the Batman movie that just came out. When you saw those characters, you're like, I don't want this character to win, but I like him. When I saw these villains, I'm like, I don't want these characters to win, and I don't like them.
True.
Well, I'll give you a contrast to that. I don't like Freddy Krueger. I don't want him to win. I think he's a bad guy.
Right.
But he's a good bad guy because he's good at being a bad guy.
Great.
So he now makes me want to root harder for the good guys.
Yeah.
Because
What?
this guy is so bad.
Right.
I want him to lose. Please kill him quick.
That's what I was saying. You like him as a character. You don't want him to win, but you like him as a character. When you see the villains in this movie, I didn't like them as characters.
You didn't even want.
I did not like Kylo Ren coming into this film. But as I saw him interact and how he was carrying on, I started to like him, and I was like, oh man, this
Yeah.
is a new generation. And then all of a sudden I was like,
What in the world happened?
do you know how long it took Vader to get to the point that you're at right now?
Exactly.
It took Vader 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
So, here's the thing: if we were to rate this and give this some stars, how much stars are you giving it, Dean? 2.5. Oh man, Dean is hitting it hard tonight. He only gave it 2.5.
Out
Max.
of 10. Out of 10.
Oh, out of 10. All right, out of 10.
7.
7.
7.
Ooh, okay. What are you giving it?
I'm gonna stick with Dean, man. I'm gonna give it a 7. 7.5. Action was good. 7.5.
If it wasn't for Kylo Ren
Uh-huh.
doing what he did about halfway in the film, I probably would have rated it probably an 8.59, maybe. Because of what he did, and you'll know when you see the film, I'm going with a 5. I've seen every last episode from the jump, all right? So my expectation is much higher than somebody who's only seen maybe 4 of those.
That's true. That's true. And again, one of the problems is we can tell what was going to happen. We knew what was going to happen next.
There wasn't one surprising moment in this film.
You're right.
If you watch all the Star Wars movies, there wasn't one surprising moment.
No surprises.
Every time I was looking at the screen, I'm like, this is gonna happen, and it happened. I was like,
It did.
The only thing that didn't happen is what I wanted to see happen in the end. And you want it to happen too, but it doesn't happen.
It just doesn't. It's right there by the end, and you're
It's
like,
right there.
You're like, yeah, come on,
Right there.
Come on.
This
You know?
will mean something to you.
Yeah. When you see the movie, you're gonna laugh. You'll be like, oh yeah, he's right. He's right. Just
everyone who was mad about the black guy won.
You
If he
know,
was mad about the black guy, you were not gonna be pissed anymore.
you're not. You're gonna get over yourself
you're
quickly.
Gonna be so happy.
You'll be like, man, why
The
did I
reviewers
do
are gonna
that?
come in like, oh, this was an awesome movie. Thank
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, this is great. This
Yes.
Is, like they didn't mess up the
Yes.
movie one bit.
The force was not tarnished.
Right.
It wasn't the worst movie, but I mean, there's no Jar Jar Binks.
I wanted him to come back, man. I know people hate Jar Jar Binks, but I thought
He gave a
I
lot
thought
of value.
He was hilarious.
He gave a lot of value.
The only reason I would ever want to see Jar Jar Binks again is if he dies. If you just see his corpse, I'm like, okay, there we go.
Oh man.
This movie is 10 out of 10. Love this movie already.
Yeah.
They wanted him to die like Dobby died in Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, that's not gonna happen. He just adds so much value to it, and then the fact that he's like ghetto, like not ghetto, but you know he's a real grungy type of. Yeah. He's.
Completely against it, guys. The only reason I would ever want to see Jar Jar Binks again is if he dies.
I'm pretty sure Luke feels the same way.
Jar Jar Binks, if y'all didn't know, is a Jedi Master.
Yes.
Okay? Go back and look at the film
True.
and see how many times Jar Jar Binks should have been dead.
Right.
But somehow he wiggled out of it, even kills people,
Yeah.
shooting guys like this behind his back and all types of stuff.
Yeah. He's
And
a
you're
real
like,
deal.
wait a minute. This guy might be an undercover Jedi.
He's the actual Sith Lord.
Yeah. There you have it. There you have it.
All right, guys. Sounds like we completed the mission tonight.
I think we have. Hey, season greetings to everyone that's out there. Be safe. It is the season. We're out here. Oh my. Wear a vest if you got one. Oh man, it's hey, be safe. Drink, dress well, and yeah.
Leave the guns at home.
Leave your Jedi heart at home. Don't bring it to that movie. You will get it broken.
Come with an open mind.
Don't set your expectations as high as I did. I'm excited that it was an awesome film.
Actually, here's what I'm gonna say. Wait for the sequel. The sequel's gonna be much better.
I believe that the sequel is going to be awesome.
You-
Based on they laid the foundation right.
You know what? I thought the same thing for the Hunger Games. I
Let me
thought
tell you
the sequel. I was like, oh yeah, this Hunger Games is gonna be the bomb.
You remember the ending of the Hunger Games?
This last one that came out?
No, the first
The-
one.
The first one.
Where she
Yeah.
was standing on the platform
Yes.
there, and they were standing in front of the whole community for their
Correct.
hometown.
Yes.
And everybody was kind of looking at them, and she was waving
Right.
on, and she had to give the guy a kiss.
Right.
But her actual boyfriend was in the crowd.
Yes.
I was in the movie theater saying, she better update her Facebook status to complicated.
Definitely.
At
Definitely.
least with the Hunger Games, I had the pleasure of, I read the books. I know what's gonna happen.
Man, I tell you what,
I'll read the books later.
I will never read the books.
I second that.
Well, I did so.
So sad for you, sir.
Quite.
And they weren't bad.
I believe you. I just not gonna read the books.
And we're out. And we're going to see you guys for the Christmas season. Until next time, this is CGZ, CGZ team.
Yes.
And he's with CGZ Media. And this guy, he's just a stranger we just found here outside
Just
the
picked him
building.
up off the streets.
There's Dean.
Even though I come to all the street guys.
And he's come to Street Fighter tournaments and he's
Isn't
won.
Dean a winner? Yeah.
He is a winner.
Yeah, he's a tournament winner.
He is a winner. Pop your collar, sir.
I've won, like, I think only like 90% of every tournament. I entered,
90% of all the
Shut
tournaments.
up.
Oh,
What is it?